Hey, it's Cody here. I'm going to do my predictions for the latest UFC card. But first, I want to welcome back these fighters. They may never win a title in their careers, but they're very exciting to me. Alright, moving on. First fight, Alan Belcher versus Cote. Patrick Cote, who is back. I hate to say this, but I actually give Alan Belcher the edge here because he's a big spoiler, and he has sub experience, and that's where Cote's lacking always. He always could be subbed. He was subbed by Travis Luter. So I fear the sub for Cote, and I fear him coming back rusty too. So I'm going to give this one to Alan. Next fight, Kimbo. Oops, I forgot them. Versus Matrione. Just going to do first names because it's faster and I write really slow. So Kimbo Slice versus Matt Matrione. This is a really hard fight. I actually made an avatar bet on MMA Playground on Kimbo Slice. I think Kimbo Slice is going to win it. But it seems to me almost like Matt is a good matchup for Kimbo Slice. Matt Matrione could take a hard shot and, could keep on coming, keep on swinging. So it's going to be a close one, I think. But here's what I'm hoping for. I'm banking on Kimbo Slice bringing enough new stuff to be able to come out there and use some wrestling here, because Matt has a poor ground game. That's what we know. He has a poor ground game. He got subbed by that little bald guy that looks like Jason Relaxation. I forget his name, but he wasn't really impressed. I wasn't impressed with that guy's subs. I think Kimbo could actually get them down and probably grind a decision. And if he's smart, he'll do it. If he's stupid, I think he'll go out there and bang with Matt Matrione. He could take a shot all day. So if he does bang, I may give the edge to Matrione. But if Kimbo fights a smart fight, which I think he's trying to learn to do after we watched what he did to Houston Alexander, got Kimbo. Alright, next we got Jeremy Stevens versus Sam Stout. Alright, I'm just going to use some MMA math here. Jeremy Stevens lost to Joe Lozon. Sam Stout beat Joe Lozon. So your winner is Sam Stout. He's on the rise. I also think that Jeremy Stevens is on the decline. So there you go. Jeremy Stevens, he was doing good for a while before he got that loss. But Sam Stout seems to be able to find it now. I always do that. Do the crooked line on the A. It's a poor habit. Don't copy me, children. Next we got Paul Daly versus, let's put Koscheck. Alright, Paul Daly versus Koscheck. This is an interesting fight. There are not many fights where I actually support Koscheck over somebody, but Paul Daly's been kind of an ass. He went out and, he did that Photoshop contest with Koscheck and making fun of Koscheck on the underground forums and stuff. But Paul Daly could be in big trouble here. If Koscheck can get him down, I don't see Paul Daly being able to do anything on the ground against Koscheck. Koscheck could sub him or probably ground him and pound him out. Jake Shields beat Paul Daly, but the hard part's getting him down, and he got him down. And Jake Shields doesn't even have the stand-up that Koscheck has. So I'm going with Koscheck on this one, but only if he, fights a smart fight, doesn't try to stand up the whole thing, but just uses his stand-up to make takedowns possible. I think he's going to win this. And probably, I guess he'll get a title shot after that. I'm not positive, but I think he would. He beat Rumble, and now he's going to beat Paul Daly if he gets the win here. It's a title shot. And our main event, Machida versus, that was like a 5. Shogun. Alright. So, man, I thought in this fight, everyone gave Shogun that fight because he outstruck Lyoto. This is the rematch. This is part 2. We're going to see what happens. My personal thoughts are, after the fight, I found it really interesting what the guys said after the fight, what their next game plan would be. To me, this is just me talking, but Shogun seemed complacent with doing the same thing over again. The same thing that, lost him the fight in the judge's eyes. That's not a good sign. Lyoto seemed like he was going to change his whole outlook and try to do something different here to improve and win this fight in his eyes and everyone's eyes. So I give Lyoto the edge. Also, the judges. I don't think judges in MMA, they're not willing to admit that they made mistakes. They want to be stubborn. They don't want to learn. They don't want to improve their judging criteria. They don't. That's the truth. They just want to be right. So they're right fighters, and they'll continue being right. Whatever they say is right in their eyes. And I believe they'll still give more points for the Lyoto's, hitting the head than they will Shogun's hitting the body. So I give this one to Lyoto, just because conspiracy theories. That's it. But hopefully it's a good fight. I want to see a good fight. I'd love to see a definite ending to this fight, but I fear we will never get that. So I wish they'd just go, until there was an ending. And it's